So I'd like to welcome you to Leicester Medical School. This is a talk focusing on phase 2 of our course, our clinical phase, and I'm Richard Swan, I'm head of Leicester Medical School. This is a sort of partner talk with a talk by Dr. Margaret Barnes-Davies, our admissions tutor on phase 1, and I've also recorded a short welcome talk for you as well. You have to understand our course is powered by great research. We sit within the College of Life Sciences, which has a fantastic pedigree of groundbreaking research in genetics, cancer, cardiovascular disease and diabetes, to name a few areas. Genetic fingerprinting was something that was discovered in Leicester and developed in Leicester. So we are a research-intensive university which underpins our excellent medical course. We're also leading in terms of quality and safety. Northampton, one of our local trusts, and Leicester, University of Leicester Hospitals Trust, both are leading exponents of patient safety. Our students regularly participate in quality and safety initiatives, and this is a picture of some of our students taking their work to an international conference last year. So I've got the pleasure of talking to you about the second part of our medical course, but it's important to understand that our course has gone through quite a revolution over the last 5 years as we started a new curriculum that's working really well. It's based on obviously the GMC guidance in terms of outcomes for graduates, which sets out the knowledge, skills and behaviours that you as future doctors would be expected to show. But the design of the course is ours, and that's the great joy of medical school within the UK, where medical schools have the freedom within the guidance of the GMC to develop courses that suit their particular circumstances, and we've developed a course that we believe is both innovative, resting on traditional foundations, and excellent in the way we deliver it. So you're here because we believe that you have the ability to treat people with respect, that you have great empathy and the ability to care for others, which are fundamentals to you becoming a fantastic doctor. But doctors also need to thrive with responsibility and leadership, and specifically to be able to manage uncertainty as you weigh up different possible diagnoses that your patient may or may not have, and how to manage the diagnosis that you've made. Medicine is and healthcare in general is a tough but very rewarding career. So being resilient and having great problem-solving skills are vital. And clearly, you have to have an aptitude and interest in science, as science underpins everything that we do. So I think the great thing about Leicester is that we are fundamentally trying to train safe, competent, compassionate, caring doctors. We have a patient-based curriculum, not a disease-based curriculum, and we very much believe that our clinical part of the course is very much around a vocational apprenticeship type model, which allows you to develop the skills you will require to be a fantastic junior doctor and doctor of the future. We have very student-centred teachers. We very much believe that we should learn from the students in terms of their respond to their needs and their desires in terms of enhancing and developing our curriculum on a continuous basis. And we're very proud of the partnership we work to with our students, who are at the very heart of the development of our curriculum. So our approach is very much a blend of the best of the traditional approach with innovation. All our learning has a clinical context to it, and we're proud that within the first 2 years of phase 1 that you will have heard about from Margaret, we're very much guiding your learning throughout through a workbook-based approach within the group work that you do. That's very important. It's not problem-based learning, and it's that guided learning that we think supports you very well through that first phase. So I just wanted to capture that, which no doubt Margaret has touched on in detail before. So it's a 5-year course, 2 years of phase 1 and 3 years of phase 2, and it's phase 2 that I'm going to be dealing with in a little bit more detail over the next 5 or 10 minutes. So our clinical years, phase 2, are years 3, 4 and 5. Year 3 is the apprenticeship element of the course, where you have a long period of 12 weeks in a medical block, a 12-week surgical block, and a 12-week primary care block. And these long blocks allow you to develop a relationship within hospitals or primary care with a ward team, so you develop the skills that are so required of our junior doctors in medicine, surgery, or indeed out in general practice. And the long block means that you have a much more developed relationship with our clinical placement providers. You feel much more at home, and you're learning much more actively than you do in those places which move you from pillar to post rather more frequently, shall we say. That year ends with exams followed by a 4-week student selected component, which allows you to pick something, and we have a wide variety of options from very clinically orientated student selected components in, say, radiology or microbiology, infectious diseases, etc., to a much more classroom based activities such as learning a language, such as British Sign Language, or working in the community with our connection we have with a homeless charity called Project Light. There's a vast array of different components, student-selected components that you can choose from, which is exciting at that stage. So you will then move into our 4th year, and our 4th year is our specialty year, where we have 6 7-week blocks. Reproductive health or obstetrics and gynecology, child health, i.e. paediatrics, a mental health block, a special sensory neurology dermatology block where you're learning ENT, ear, nose and throat, ophthalmology, that's the eyes, neurology, that's the nerves, and dermatology, that's the skin. You're learning those in detail before you move into an integrated care block. The integrated care block's a block where you're based in the community, learning how secondary care services, our hospital services, link to our community and our primary care services. So you specifically, or generally I should say, around elderly care, but not just older people, also those with disabilities, etc. And learning how services can work well together, and also discovering how services sometimes don't work so well together. You'll have time in our community hospitals based around the patch, etc. And there's a cancer care block as well. We're relatively unusual in the UK in having a 7-week block devoted to cancer care. Yet cancer is one of the biggest killers in the UK, so understanding cancer in detail we think is highly important. So year 4 finishes with some exams, and then you would move into our final year. And we feel that the final years are sort of our jewel in the crown, as it were. It's a chance for you to develop the skills that you absolutely require day one as a foundation doctor. And there are 4 of these foundation assistantships, one in the emergency department and acute care, one in medicine in hospital, and one in surgery in hospital, a primary care assistantship, an elective and a student selected component. So in the slide you'll see 3 things, but that hospital one is actually divided into a medical component and a surgical component. So acute care, medicine, surgery and primary care, each of those are 5 weeks long. You have your finals, and then you enter your elective and your student selected component, which finishes the course. And that final student selected component is really a chance for you to develop skills in a very specific area of interest to you in terms of your future career. So it allows you the opportunity to really have a flying start for when you apply 2 years after that for specialty training or training in general practice. So that's the structure of our clinical years, and we think the structure seems to have worked really well. Students are really enjoying it, and the real change here is the longer clinical apprenticeships in year 3, which are leading students to come out of that year much better prepared and also to have engaged much further. But equally, our long foundation assistantships in year 5 allow students to really develop the skills that they require to be genuinely great foundation doctors. So that's the structure, as I said, of phase 2. The foundation assistantships we know are working. We won't run them now for 4 years in a very similar shape. They move to being before finals just this year, and that's really prepared our students for a fantastic experience during finals and to be ready for their new career. So we're proud of this assistantship programme, and those are a few insights from comments, not only from the students themselves, but from the doctors they're working with, who are seeing students not behaving as students, but very much behaving or almost as junior doctors. So I ought to mention intercalated degrees. Intercalated degrees are a fantastic opportunity for you to step outside your medical course after either your second, your third or your fourth year. And we're very flexible in that regard, unlike certain other places. And I think that flexibility is important because every student is different, and when they feel they are ready for intercalation varies. Some will not want to intercalate at all, and that is absolutely fine. I would encourage every student to actively think about intercalation and decide yes or no, but the decision as to whether or not to intercalate is clearly your own. The programmes that we have available within Leicester are a relatively new Masters in Medical Research that's been run for 2 years. That was based on a bachelor's degree in medical research, where the students were performing to such a high standard in their dissertation component that we very much thought this is not at bachelor's level, we need to make this a master's, and it's become a master's in the last 2 years, and the students are thriving through that and succeeding every bit as well as they did prior to that. We have a BSc in biomedical science for those students who have a particular interest in one of the biological sciences, and that gives them a chance to have a more taught year, and students generally do that after the second year, but they can equally do that after the third or fourth year if they so wished. We have a BSc in psychology again, that's more of a taught course, and again students can do that after the second, third or fourth year. And there are other MScs that are in development at the moment. We're very pleased that we've almost got approval for a Masters in Clinical Education, which will allow students to develop educational skills. And many of our students absolutely love teaching other students and giving them the skills to do that really well, and generating and developing the clinical educators of the future is a real passion of ours. So having a master's degree opportunity there will be great. As I said, you can intercalate after year two to do a BSc, or you can intercalate after year 3 or 4 to do an MSc or a BSc, if that makes sense. We're flexible in Leicester in terms of where you intercalate. We'd love you to intercalate locally here in Leicester, but we understand that for some students they find a very niche intercalation option in one of the other medical schools in the country, and that is absolutely fine. They should definitely take that chance. Or they specifically want to intercalate elsewhere for other more personal reasons, and that also is absolutely fine, so long as they're obviously doing something that's relevant to the course. So that's intercalation, and our students thrive through that. The hospitals. So phase 2 is delivered both in hospitals and in primary care. We're very lucky in Leicester to have 3 hospitals within Leicester itself. Leicester Royal Infirmary, which is literally 10-15 minutes walk from the medical school. Leicester General Hospital and Glenfield General Hospital are both out on the peripheries of Leicester City, and they provide a diverse range of experience across the medical specialties. But we don't just send our students within Leicester. We have a range of district general hospitals where students go for what they call outblocks, and they provide free student accommodation. And this slide shows you the diversity of hospitals that we use, from Queen's Hospital over in Burton in the west to Lincoln Hospital north and east of us, Peterborough Hospital over in the east of us, Kettering General Hospital sort of due east of us, Bedford Hospital, Northampton Hospital south, and those are the main hospitals that we are using, as well as George Eliot Hospital over to the west. So that's the range of hospitals. All of those have a uniquely different skill set. Students love each of the places often for quite different reasons, but the students particularly like outblocks because they tend to be managed in relatively smaller numbers, and they feel that it's a somewhat more intimate experience than the larger Leicester Hospital. That said, they love coming to Leicester too because of the specialty experience within Leicester. So that's the diversity of hospital experience that's provided for students who come to Leicester. We realise that undertaking a medical course, it's 5 years. A lot can happen in 5 years in your life, and students need support through that time. And we have two sorts of support offers. The first is a personal tutor who you have during phase 1, and you'll see that tutor sort of 3 to 4 times each year. And then you move into your clinical years where you'll move into having a clinician who's known as a clinical academic tutor, who mentors you through your clinical years, those years 3, 4 and 5. And that clinical tutor will see you for twice a year or thereabouts, or more if needed, in order to help you develop as a clinician over that time, develop your specialty interests and develop your career skills, etc. We have a very specialised unit here called the Pastoral Support Unit, which is nationally extremely well regarded for those with more complex support needs. And we have a university system as well that provides very good care for those students who'd like to seek care outside the medical school, including student welfare and accessibility units. We also have an academic support unit for those who need support on the academic side, but we have very available unit leads to help students, particularly during phase 1, where they're based in the medical school and the unit leads are in the medical school, for students to approach and get extra help in the units that they're finding more challenging. So we have a very good support system. We feel very close-knit group with our students, and we encourage you as students to develop a real engagement with our staff. That's very important to us. In summary, why do I think you should come here and study to be a medical student, to be a doctor in Leicester? Well, I have a fantastic team. The students really make the place, and clearly in a virtual offer day visit, you're not meeting our students, but I hope that you have experienced one of our open days and met some of our students, or you've met them during your interview process. And you will recognise the students are extremely down to earth, and they're a lovely group. They're excellent and great ambassadors for the course. Our course itself is well designed with clinical integration, with strong underpinning bioscience, with excellent anatomy facilities. I think our learning ethos through phase 1 with group work, which underpins the lecture-based teaching, is so very important, as it's through the group work and the workbooks that our students work through that they really learn to understand the lecture material that we provide to them. Our clinical diversity across the patch, but also the excellent opportunities to do research, whether it's during the course through our Medical Research Society or by stepping out and doing an integrated degree. Both are great ways of engaging in the research life of Leicester. And Leicester has this thriving hospital and general practice base that we use for your education. So it's that team of clinicians and academics, our fantastic students, the structure of our course, and the hospitals and general practices that support us, that make us special. We produced some winning doctors. A couple of years ago, when the NHS was celebrating its 75th birthday, there was a university challenge for junior doctors, and it was great to see so many of the actual contenders were Leicester graduates. This is a picture of one of the early rounds where University Hospital Leicester was taking on Kettering General, and 4 of those people in the picture were Leicester graduates. I was delighted when University Hospital Leicester won, and 2 of those students, or doctors I should say, were from Leicester. So that's a great tribute to our graduates, but this is something that I think is really important, that our students go on to be fantastic doctors who progress. And by that I mean that all, pretty much every single doctor graduates into foundation training, but after that, moving into specialty training is more challenging. Yet our students year after year after year perform outstandingly well at moving from foundation training into specialty training and getting an excellent specialty training post. We're third overall on average from 2014 to 2019, third only to Cambridge and Lancaster, interestingly. So, great career progression. So, in summary, we have a clinically focused course which is underpinned by excellence in bioscience. We have a strong group work provision supporting your learning, cadaveric dissection in our superb anatomy lab, a wide range of hospital and GP placement around many areas of national excellence, a high research activity and success, and great integrated degree opportunities building on that research. And like I've said, we produce doctors who progress. We produce doctors who are caring, empathic, but also succeed in their careers. So thank you very much. I hope that's been a useful summary of our Phase 2 course. And I hope you choose us and come and I'll meet you face to face in September. Thank you.